Hi friends, it's Matt Ellentuck from Gaming Society. I'm here doing my annual mock draft, except this time I get to do it in the presence of a former lottery pick herself, Marissa Coleman. Marissa, you're looking at my mock draft. I want you to tell me the first thing that stands out. What sucks about it?
Matt, you're good at this. Nothing sucks about it. Although I will say I have Pune going a lot higher than you have her at number 12. I actually think Washington's going to take her at number 3.
Okay, I need to know a little more why I have her at number 12. So what makes her a lottery pick?
I think the style Washington plays, the players that Tebow usually goes after, I think she fits their system well. She's a big that can extend the floor. She can shoot the three. She rebounds well. I just think her type of game is what Tebow usually looks for.
Okay, well, my mock drafts are always a mess. So listen, I'll take your word for it. Can we agree at the top though? Are we sold after there was a trade, right? The Dream and Mystic swap picks. So do we think Atlanta definitely goes Ryan Howard?
I think so. I think she's a wing player. She's a big wing. We'll cause some matchup problems. Versatile. I think she's a good. Obviously, Atlanta's trying to rebuild. I think she's a good player to get them right back on the right path.
I'm with it. I feel like she's definitely has like the highest ceiling of any player. If there's somebody who's like a perennial all-star, I feel like it's going to be Howard. So I'm kind of glad to see Atlanta make that move too, right? Like they need a real star presence next to Tiffany Hayes. So that'd be sick. I think the area of my mock draft that might start like a little bit of controversy, right? I feel like everyone has paired NaLyssa Smith as the definite number 2 pick to Indy. I picked Shakira Austin. Marissa, what are you thinking about this number 2 pick?
I'm going to go with NaLyssa Smith, although I can see where your argument lies. I do think Shakira might have one of the highest ceilings in this draft. She's super athletic. When she transferred from Maryland to Ole Miss, you really saw her athleticism on display a little more. She has proven that she can score. So I think if she just gets in the right team, in the right system, I think you'll really be able to see her develop even more. And that's such a big thing in the W, is just getting in the right system where you can flourish.
Yeah, that's my thought with Indy. It's like they need to just like redo everything there. And Tierra McCowan now sending her out means they have a space at center. And I feel like that's the perfect opportunity, right? You want to pick somebody who has superstar potential. And to me, Shakira Austin's like that second person. But also, am I right in thinking like, so Austin is 6'5", and I don't think that there are many 6'5" players in this draft. You mentioned Kunain, who's another one. But is that like a difference maker? Is the 6'5" center, is that your like, that's a true center size?
It is, and with Shakira, she can actually handle the ball too. So
Yeah.
that's when a added bonus when you have a center or a 6'5" player that can grab a rebound and lead your break. And with Lynn Dunn in Indy now and having played for her and knowing what she looks for in players, I think she would be a good fit for Indy. And even if it doesn't go in number 2, Indy has quite a few first round picks, so I still think there's an opportunity for her to end up in Indy, which I think is a good look for all these young players. Honestly, it's a huge opportunity for them. They may get drafted by Indy and be disappointed when you look at their record the past couple of seasons, but they should go into it looking at it as an opportunity, because with Lynn Dunn and her history in Indy, she wants to get it back to where they had been for so many years. So it's an opportunity to come in and make your mark and be a part of the team that gets Indy back to where they belong.
That's what I was going to say too, because so much of the WNBA draft is like, where do I have a chance to actually play? Or in some cases, where do I even just have a chance to make a roster, which is pretty crazy to say about somebody who could be a first round pick, like top 12 in their draft class. Do you remember, Marissa, when you were waiting to get drafted? Like, were you thinking like, this is a spot that I could play? Like, I want to go here. I don't want to go here. Like, was that going through your head?
Yes and no. I was just so excited to get drafted. And after the tournament, and at that point, I was pretty confident where I was going to land, and that would be DC. So, but there were still nerves in it, and going to a team that had Monique Curry, had Elena Beard, that's when the nerves really set in, because it's like, okay, now you get to the WNBA and everybody's an All-American, and it's because it's such a small pool. It's not like if you're going to the NBA where there's so many more players. Literally, there's a team full of All-Americans and people that have crazy, accolades. So Yeah.
I have another question too, and I know coverage has like expanded a ton now, maybe from when you got drafted. But were you reading any mocks of yourself, or like doing any sort of research as like what do other people think about me?
I did initially, but then it just made me too nervous. But it was pretty consistent. I was fortunate enough that I was either one or two, so I knew I was either
Not
going to fall
the-
there. Like I wasn't going to have to wait too long. So I was fortunate for that. But there's still nerves. Like I remember when Donna Orner came out, and I'm just like, man, like this is happening, and my family's with me, and Christy's at the table next to me. It was just like pretty surreal. So I don't even if you know you're the number one pick. So if you're, I don't know, when Aaliyah Boston comes out, we all know she's going to be number one. She's still going to have those nerves because it's the realization of your dreams. It's all that hard work, all the sacrifices. So it doesn't matter where you fall. There's going to be nerves.
Back to this mock, there's one I want to lock in as our bet of the day, who I feel really good about. And I think Kirsten Bell is one of the most interesting players in this draft, coming out of a mid-major school, being like just a scoring machine. What are your feels on her, Marissa?
I'm excited about her. I was fortunate enough to be able to see her play against Maryland in the tournament. I did not see her play previously, but I did hear a lot about her, especially leading up to them playing Maryland. So watched her on YouTube, saw some clips, and seeing her play. Maryland won that game pretty single-handedly. Go Terps! But towards the end, when the game was pretty much over, you really were able to see her athleticism and see what she's capable of. She can shoot, she can get to the rim, she can rebound. So like Shakira, I think she's one of the players that not too many people are talking about that, but does have a strong upside. I think she has a pro game, she's pro ready. So I think she's going to be a player we hear about for a long time in the W.
Yeah, now our bet of the day is for Kirsten Bell to become the first player ever from Florida Gulf Coast to be drafted in the first round, which would be pretty sick. And not even just the first round, like she could go as high as a lottery pick here at number 4. If she goes to Indy, Marissa, what would you like to see from her, from like a wide open team that could use a lot of weapons?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I agree with that bet of the day for sure. I think that's a pretty sure win. I think if Indy can get Shakira, can get her, that's going to be dangerous. They're both super athletic. They're young. They work hard. I think it could be a dangerous combo between the two of them. But again, I think playing for Lynn Dunn and knowing how, although she's just interim GM right now, just knowing her mentality, she's a player that I think would thrive under Indy's system. She works hard. She knows the game. She's very versatile, and I know those are things that Lynn looks for. So I'm excited to watch her play this summer.
Elsewhere on this list, Marissa, after watching the tournament and the tournament also being stacked like so close to when the draft actually happens, is what, like not even 2 weeks apart. Are there any players that you watched in the tourney whose stock just rose so much through their play that you're like, man, she might not have been a first round pick before the tourney, but now after seeing her, she's got to be a first round pick?
I'm gonna go back with my girl Kunane. I think I think her and what's the girl from Louisville? Her name is uh, yes. I think those two, and I think more so her, just her tenacity, her defense, and that's definitely when we talk about these drafts. A lot of times we're only talking about offense, and we're not really talking about the intangibles. And I think she's somebody. And again, if Indy can get her, that's great. I see you have her going number 6 on your mock draft, and I think that's again the type of player that Indy looks for. We keep talking a lot about Indy. I think this is going to be a big gap for them. I think they have an opportunity to get some young players that have high ceilings.
Here's another name I want to hear from you about, because she had such a ridiculous championship game. Destiny Henderson, who I know is a little on the small side, but obviously showed out in the biggest game for her whole career, and lockdown Page, and dropping 20 whatever points. What do you think of a player like her, and especially as someone who's a little smaller but has proven she can do it at the college level?
Players like her are always fun to watch and easy to root for. And that, to your point, she's undersized, but you can tell she has that heart, and that has got her this far. I think in the W, just having that tenacity, being able to play that defense, locking down one of the best players in college basketball, and who will go down is, they keep calling her the next Taurasi. So to be able to do that on the biggest stage, I also think she probably has a chip on her shoulder. I'm sure she's heard her entire career about her size, and two, I think it's to her advantage coming from South Carolina, knowing how Dawn runs her program, one, and being on a team with all these stars and always kind of having to take a back seat. I think she'll be able to step into the W, into a role, and just and play it very well.
Is there anyone else that we haven't, I guess, talked about, or anybody that is not on my list that was in your brain?
I think Nas from Michigan. She is undersized. So I think that is working against her. But having seen her play a couple times against Maryland, she plays so hard. So I think she might be another player. She may not be a perennial all-star, but I think she'll have a solid career in the W just because of how hard she plays. I mean, she's all-time leading rebounder and scorer in both men and women at Michigan, or is it just women?
I'm not sure, but we can do an edit check.
Yeah, it was like 2,000 points, over 2,000 points, 1,000 rebounds. I mean, so I think she's another one we should look out for.
Yeah, I feel like everyone's review of Nas Hellman is like, she's a worker, she's gonna figure it out, and like sometimes you have to, I guess, ignore the listed heights on players and just realize, like, man, if she can do it here, like, I don't know, why am I going to continue to doubt her at the next level?
Yeah, and it's just unfortunate that the league needs to expand, because again, there's only 144 spots, and we're talking about some really great players. And sadly, some of them probably won't make rosters. And it's just unfortunate that we don't have enough roster spots right now, but hopefully one day we'll get there.
And even crazier, like the 144 number is what's thrown around because that's the 12 roster spots on 12 teams. But there are a bunch of teams who, through the salary cap, can't even field 12. So it's more like 130 something spots based on now how the salary cap has done it. So I think my final question then, Marissa, also knowing that some of these players, even the first round, could get cut, might not make a roster. How significant is their being drafted in either the first round or even in the early second round for them overseas, if that's where they head to right after? Is there something to be said about being a high W pick, even if you don't play in the league right away, for getting money and going overseas?
There is, for sure. Overseas teams do pay attention to where you fall in the draft, and they do pay attention to your college career as well. So even if you fall late into the second round or third round and you had a great college career, they do pay attention to that. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you won't get a good contract overseas if you fall late into the draft.